Hi everybody, it's Mark Shellshear. This is the Mark Art Show coming to you from Galleria de las Islas in Metro Manila, Philippines. And I want to continue on with our parable of the sower. I know I'm taking a long bow here, but I just see that there's so much in this that we can use to our advantage as artists as we look at this and think about it, because it really is about somebody who is incredibly diligent at what they're doing and not letting the peripheral things affect them in any way at all. And so often in life, it's the peripheral things that really trip us up, that really we get hung up on. You know, we get caught up in the minor instead of majoring on the major things. And so I think this little parable really does that, the parable of the sower. The thing about the sower that we need to see is that the sower was really a diligent sower. The sower had good seed. The sower got a harvest. The sower was not concerned about birds. The sower was not concerned about the stony ground. And the sower didn't stop to pull out the thorns. And this is really interesting. You know, when you think about it, it's really interesting that the sower ignored all these other things and purely concentrated on good ground. Well, I think there's a real lesson still here for us. I talked about that, you know, we've got to not chase the birds. We've got to not get all upset about the stony ground, excuse me, and try and make it into good ground. And we've got to not go around pulling out thorns. We've got to just leave these things be. And I described them as three groups of people that we may deal with in the art world. I said that, you know, the birds are like those people who come in and have a quick look and, you know, they're not interested, and they're the ones who say, I'm just looking, thank you. They're really not going to touch anything. They're just picking and picking. And so you just let them go. They're the birds. Let them just go off. And you have the stony ground ones are the ones who come in and tell you how beautiful the artwork is, and you know, maybe they'll think about it when they get paid, or you know, I'll come back, and they've got excuses. And really you know straight off that those excuses mean that they're not buying anything. So you let them go. And then you have the ones who are the thorns, and these are the kind of the customer that you really think you've got a sale going here. It's really moving along well. They love the work. They, excuse me, talking about how much they like the work and how much they do this. And then it comes to the big point of, let's do this, let's sell this. And then they say things like, well, you know, it's just a little expensive for me. Can I get a discount? Can you reduce the price somehow? You know, could you do 2 for 1? I've had people ask me that. You know, things like that. These things come along. And so, you know, you're dealing now with thorny ground. They're not going to buy. If you say no to the discount, if you say no to all the extras, they're not buying. They're going to walk off because, you know, they've let other things come in and start to mess them up inside. So, you know, really, we need to understand that these groups of people come and go within what we are doing. And we must be friendly, we must be polite, and we must be helpful to these people. Because some of these people in the future could turn into good ground. Always remember that. So even if they are just, excuse me, the birds, you know, give them a good experience. Give them an experience that they can walk away and not have any criticism about. So because one day they may turn into good ground. So you and I, as artists selling our work, need to concentrate on the good ground. That's where the sale is. That's where we need to add value. That's where we need to be valuable in doing that. You know, every time we do this, we need to deal with the buyer in a certain way. And I'm going to say some things today that I haven't said before. I don't usually give everything out all the time. I try and save some things, but I thought I'd talk about this today, and I may even write about it later today. You know, when we've got the sale, and we know the customer's buying, and the customer's there, and you've made the sale, you've got the money in your hand, you know it's a done deal. You know, that's just the beginning. That's just the first sale. Now, according to this parable, that in this good ground you can get a 100-fold return, or a 60-fold return, or a 30-fold return. So within every sale are more sales. And it's how we work now that will really impact on future sales. We've got the customer there. They've bought the product. They've got our painting. They're happy with the painting. We've given them a great experience buying the painting. We've made them feel great about the painting, they enjoy the painting, and now they're ready to go home with this painting. Before they go, I want you to think about these kind of things to do, these kind of questions. A question like asking them, where are you going to hang this? In what room? Do you have the right hangers for it? Can I give you some advice on how you should hang it? Or do you think you're going to be okay? Be the helpful artist who can offer some advice about hanging. They might, ask, well, it's a plaster wall, what would you suggest? And, you can give them some advice. Tell them to hang directly out of the ceiling, drop to, lines down. A lot of people do that. Have some advice. Be interested in where they're going to put the painting. Very important. We're now going to add value. Okay, they bought the painting. We've asked them where they're going to hang it. Next, we make sure we give them an artist pack. Yes, they bought a painting, but still give them an artist pack so they've got your address, phone numbers, follow-up, all there. Next, make sure you get their email address and if possible, get their phone number. These are important. I want you to get an email address off them at least to do that. Now, you need to give them a certificate of authenticity. Now, you can do that two ways, or three ways really. You can have the certificate right there and you can just sign it in front of them and hand it to them. Or you can say to them, hey, would you like to pick it up from my studio on Tuesday or Wednesday or when it's suitable? Or would you prefer me to bring it to your house? Now, any of those options are good. I like the last two options because the last two options mean if they come to the studio, you've got the opportunity to show them some new work. And if you go to the house, you've got the opportunity to go in and see the painting and rave about the painting on their wall and how wonderful it looks. So these are things to think about. It's always good, especially if they're local people, to make sure that you get to deliver the certificate or they pick it up from you. Why? After sales service. Keep the contact going. Keep your face in front of them. It's important to do that. Okay, the next thing, and I haven't spoken about this before because I never want to load you up with tons of things because I'm the one who loads everybody up. Ask them for a photograph of the painting hanging on their wall and a short testimony about what they think of your painting. Now this is important. Ask them for a photograph of the painting on the wall, like this Austin painting. And then ask them to write a short story about it, a little testimony about it. Why? So one, you can put it into your testimonial book. And two, you can have them printed out so that when people come to your stall or come to your exhibition, to your opening, you can show a book with testimonies of people who bought your work and are happy with your work. We believe what's written down, and testimonies from happy customers are incredibly powerful. And I encourage you, artists, to do this. Get testimonies of people who bought your paintings, put them into a loose leaf folder so you can show them, people can read them. When you go somewhere, you've got proof of sale. That's important. Oh, wow, this woman, she sold a lot of paintings. She must be a popular artist. Look what people say about her. Isn't that incredible? You see what I mean? You're building something there. Okay, next thing I want you to do is that within the first 2 weeks, I want you to ring them and ask how your baby is. Ask them how the painting is. Because, you see, if you love the painting so much, then you're missing it. So you're ringing them up to find out that it's well behaved, it's hanging on the wall properly, they still love it, and get them to rave about it a little bit more. This just adds value. This just shows them that you're a concerned artist and that you're concerned about them and the painting. This is marvelous. This is what builds relationships. This is what will build the friendship between you and this collector. Building it. And then after you've done that, make sure you start your monthly email address and put them on. Now I could talk about lots of other things like having monthly get-togethers at your studio and so forth, but I think this is enough right now. After sales service is incredibly valuable because we live in a world today where there's none. You can hardly even find somebody in a shop to serve you. More or less get some after sales service. You ever rung up some of these big companies on their telephone and sat there for 15 minutes listening to music to find somebody who doesn't know what they're talking about when you finally get somebody? We as artists can bring incredible after-sales service to our customers, and that's where the 30, 60, 100-fold comes from. Because you're building a relationship with your collector so that when they buy another painting, I wonder what artist they're going to think about. They're going to think about that artist who just gave them and is still giving them fabulous service. And that's where the multiplication comes from. You've got good soil, keep sowing into it, and keep selling paintings. I believe it works. And if you do all these things, build service so that they remember you, that they love you, they respect you, they admire you as an artist, and you treat them with respect and build a friendship. Out of that, the sower sows into good ground. Ignore the birds, ignore the thorns, ignore the stony ground. You don't need them. Concentrate on that one sale and make it the best you can make it. Okay, my friends, I hope that helps a little bit of feedback. Tell me what you think. We're going to look at something new again tomorrow. Touching on these things, want you to really, tell you these things because I want you to think about it. Think and think. I know it's work, but nobody said there was no work involved. There's a lot of work involved. Okay, you have a great day. I look forward to the day when I come and visit you in your studio, wherever that may be. And I ask you to remember to look out for people who are hurting. There's many of them out there. Hugs and smiles are free. Hey, you have a great day, guys, and I'm going to talk to you tomorrow. Ciao.